name's Kirk Swaidner. I live in Winona Lake, Indiana. I've been an Acres member and along with my wife for about 16 years now. The motivation for me personally to volunteer is to give back time and labor, and sometimes blood to the organization, to be alongside other members sometimes, or to be with the land management team at times. And I've worked at probably a dozen of the properties over the past 10 or 12 years. And then the opportunity 2 years ago at the Hathaway Preserve on the Ross Run, when that stewardship email came out that the organization was looking for a steward there, was just like a gift being handed over to me. I was retiring. I knew I wanted to get more involved. Give me some stuff to do, give me an assignment. And so to be a hobby geologist and be able to spend time at that ravine and not only work it and maintain it for the many visitors it gets, but also to see it change over the 12-month cycle of the seasons is just, it's a miracle in my life. And I can joke to you that, I take care of Hathaway, but in reality, Hathaway's taking care of me. I became very interested in the organization because of its philosophy and its mission back in the early 2000s. And about 10 years ago, I began volunteering at various events and at preserves. And I'm currently the steward at the Hathaway Preserve on the Ross Run in Wabash County. That's how I came across the organization, was by word of mouth and then being introduced to it through Ted. Ted Heemstra as a person was very much people-oriented. He was a birder, an ornithologist by hobby, and he was a very kind man and a total professional. And Ted mentored me both as an Acres member and as a professional in the environmental career field that I was in. And he would meet with you at a preserve. He would give you advice about preserves. He did a lot of work. He was part of the original 30 or 35 years of Acres history that it was just volunteers. So I miss Ted a lot. I'll have to say that. I think he represented Acres in the best of ways. His philosophy of caring for the land, being responsible to it, and not just using it up. And after that, I was in on that. That's where my heart's at. I hope to reflect that to others. Ted's ethic for land and land protection was 25, 30 years ahead of mine. And so that seniority and him mentoring that down to me really advanced me or aged me in my own land management ethic and the philosophy I feel that Acres reflects at the highest level of not just using up property and protecting property, not just to hike on it. Trails are fine, but a lot of the properties are just sitting there, letting themselves ecologically do what they're supposed to do. And I think that's of utmost importance that the organization does that. Being a steward has been very stimulating to me, and I hope to maybe even take another property on at some point here in the next year. I would do that. So after a day that I've been at Hathaway at the preserve, I feel like that I have given some time to nature, to the natural world. I espouse the Christian faith, for example, and taking care of people and taking care of the planet are basic ethics of that faith. And in so doing, taking care of my neighbors, the people that are going to use the property, that's a feeling of giving back to my fellow man, and then leaving the preserve and being, tired and maybe dirty or sweaty, or maybe I'm freezing cold because it's the time of year it is. Again, I feel like, I did whatever I did that day needed to be done. That's because that's what I did. And a lot of the times that is to maintain a trail so people can get out of their vehicles and have a walk and not be distracted with woody, thorny plants or a downed tree, and then they can just enjoy the place for its sounds and what's actually going on. And I always try to point out to people, its uniqueness. To me personally, nature is a miracle. I can't step into the woods, I can't step outside and not have a thought that we're so lucky to be on this planet. And so taking care of it's important to me, and that's why Acres is so, so dear. I share Acres with anybody that will talk to me, because I feel what the organization is doing is important. And it's not just important to us now, it's important to our families that are in the future that we don't even know. And in fact, it excites me to think that I would have great-great-great-grandchildren walking on these properties, and they would still be acres properties in those hundreds of years into the future. And I so appreciate that this organization is strategically looking at what it's going to do next to make sure that what those 12 people envisioned back in 1961 gets carried on to 2061 and beyond.